amateur mixed martial arts rules in the featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, tonight making his in-cage debut, representing Impact MMA, please welcome Matty Jones. His opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, also making his in-cage debut, representing Borough MMA, please welcome Nathan Watt. Your referee in charge of the action, Paul Crossing.
Ladies and gentlemen, this featherweight contest fought over three-minute rounds. Matty Jones in the blue corner, wearing the blue compression shorts, the blue RDX gloves, taking on Nathan Watt, fighting out of Bury MMA in the green FCC shorts. Bury MMA, we maybe need to look out for a Boston Crab, perhaps.
Very much so. Bit of FCC experience in both corners here. Matty Jones has Ian Williams, who's competed a number of times as amateur and pro, former title challenger here at FCC. And of course, John O'Mears competing later on tonight, and the man behind the infamous Bolton Crab.
Absolutely, and start Watt, sort of the schoolyard headlock.
That's a headlock takeover. He's not really secured the neck there, and that's allowing Jones to slip out, take the back here.
Very nice by Jones.
Yeah, you do leave yourself exposed if you go for that headlock takeover, and that's exactly what's happened here. Watt just needs to regain a little bit of composure, but he's pulled his man over with it. So,
very nice.
You know, who are we to talk sometimes, Steve?
Yeah, and then another transit, a great little scramble from the bottom, and up on his feet, Matty Jones kicking out the legs now.
Yeah, Jones looking very, very composed in the early offing here. But that's going to have given Watt some confidence in his ability to scramble out of these positions as well. Looks like we've got a great contest on our hands here.
Yeah,
both guys making their in-cage debuts here with us tonight.
Matty Jones determined not to let Watt up. Referee now finally lets Watt up and stayed busy there working the legs.
You tend to find under these amateur rule sets the referee will be a little bit quicker to intervene in the case of a stalemate or the butt scoop position like that. It's not really advancing the position. No guy's taking anything away from it. It's not really a learning experience. So let's get the action back restarted on the feet. Good call from the referee.
We'll see if Watt looks to initiate another clinch, close that distance. And
who?
What? Who's on first? Again, cagey's not the word. But tentative, taking their time,
maybe.
patient.
I mean, I don't know their exact ages. Both look to be young guys, and first time in the cage for both these young men here. So, nobody willing to make a mistake. Both guys willing to pick up that first win.
Looks like Jones trying to work that body lock. Throwing in some knees up against the cage. But Watt staying strong. Giving up his back a little bit, but
he needs to ideally get his back on the cage in this situation.
Oh, he tried to roll for the Kimura, yep.
He needs to clear that elbow now, does Matty Jones, and he has gone immediately for the neck. Sinks in the guillotine there. He's got one leg over. Struggling to see how tight that is. He's only got 10 seconds. Looking to crank that, but there's a lot of space there.
Yeah, you can see on the right side there's a bit of space.
Just didn't have the time there, Matty Jones. What he needed to do there, ideally, was cross the ankles to give himself a bit more leverage there. Get those arms in deeper and give the big squeeze. We could see there right in front of the commentary position. There was space on one side now. It's not an oxygen choke, it's a blood choke at that point. You've got one artery free, so you're not going to go out. It's almost like an arm in guillotine. There's a whole lot of space. And it really needs to be a power move from that position if you've not got those arteries closed off.
What are you saying if you're John O'Mears now then in the corner of Nathan Watt? Both guys had some moments, but it seems to me that Matty Jones maybe controlled a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what they're going to be saying to Nathan in that corner is, take a couple of deep breaths now. You've had a couple of scrambles in that one. There's been a couple of hairy situations. We've got 2 more rounds to go. So let's go out there and let's do this on our terms this time.
Getting that first 3 minutes in your amateur career out of the way, got to be important as well.
Absolutely, it's such a unique experience, and we're not in a sports hall here. It's a big venue. There's a lot of people in the building already, even though it's early on. And we've seen guys get overwhelmed. We've seen experienced pros get overwhelmed. We've seen amateurs get overwhelmed. We've seen world champions get overwhelmed sometimes.
Matty Jones flicking up that high kick there.
Yeah, the human body can be a strange thing when that adrenaline starts to pump. So important to just get that time in, and but what particularly just to remain calm in there in the second round.
Through the Superman punch there. Didn't really make the connection and allowed Jones to try and get a clinch, but it is Watt that's pushing Jones up against the cage.
Yeah, we saw a nice knee to the body there. Watt's the slightly taller of the two as well, so that gives him certain advantages in grappling situations like this, and obviously in strike situations. He's rolling for a knee bar here.
Yeah.
Very unique bit of offense. He's got it straightened, but Jones rather clearing the leg there. Great work from Jones. He passes looking to pass through that guard there and land a few strikes is Matty Jones.
And again, this is how the end of the first played out, with Watt on his back, Jones just chopping away, looking to try and get in.
It was a real high-risk submission attempt from Nathan Watt there, and what he has done is put himself in a bit of a perilous position. He certainly sacrificed what could have been a good position for him up against the cage in order to go for that submission. And now he's seen the clock chewed up.
Yep.
With Matty Jones on top.
Yeah, is it a case that that attempt for the submission, for that leg lock, has actually cost him the round?
Well, maybe, unless he can pull something pretty significant out here. And the referee's looking for a bit of action here. We can just hear him asking the fighters to just keep it going. Jones taking a couple of up kicks there. We see the referee immediately stepping in there. He'd obviously already asked for a little bit more, didn't feel he was getting it. There's certain things you can do in that situation. There's the wheelbarrow sweep that you can do from that bottom position, or you can try a hook a leg. There's more ankle locks that you can go for, which obviously aren't available to the amateurs here. Jumping for a guillotine there, but didn't really have it. Didn't at all.
More like the koala hug from.
But able to hit bump over into top position.
Now you got Jones inside the guard of Nathan Watt.
Well, let's see what Watt can do off his back here, because he was clearly wanting this fight on the ground and seemingly happy to sacrifice top position again.
Got
legs climbing up here.
Long limbs. Trying to pull him down.
No real danger here.
And now he's just let the body wide open.
Only a few seconds on the clock, so not really a massive amount of time for
But then
Jones to do anything.
Another nice roll. I mean, both these fighters are still in this.
Absolutely. Looked like he may have even been setting up for a north-south choke there at the very end of that round. So Nathan Watt with a lot of options here on the ground. So, he's looking fairly comfortable in all ranges. What I'd like to see is, again, just a little bit more composure, because whenever he has been in a negative position, he's sacrificing himself.
Yeah, he's looked for something that has resulted in him being in a negative position, and he wasn't able to do a whole lot to change that.
And thus far, he hasn't really come close to anything he's gone for.
No.
He's never been in a position where you thought, just for another couple of inches or a couple of seconds, he'd have had the fight won. So he's perhaps made a few unnecessary sacrifices, and I'm sure that's what his corner are going through with him right now.
Matty Jones has been very, very patient in this fight. He's not rushed. He's not jumped on the top position. Following a game plan, you'd think?
Yeah, possibly. He could well have 2 rounds in the bag here, so again, it becomes a composure thing for Matty Jones as well. Don't go out there now and make a stupid mistake. Certainly don't go out there and coast, put some points on the board. But as we've seen, Watt looks like he's got, a few tools in the bag here. Oh, big head kick.
Yeah, just ducked under by Matty Jones. He's trying to work the jab to get in on the takedown, and has.
Yeah, very good basics there. Double jab, immediately change levels. A little bit slow in the third round, but that's the kind of fundamental skill set which will serve him well throughout the remainder of his career.
Would you like to see him turn Watt perhaps more to the cage to take away his ability to throw up those legs and crush that head in?
There's options both ways. If Watt decides he wants to try and climb back to his feet, then it's prudent for him to to have his back against the cage. So unless you're a really, really strong wrestler, crushing guys between the mat and the cage is not always the way to go anymore. You know, it's not the sort of Tito Ortiz glory days when he would just mash guys into that little corner. You know, the cage crawling and using it to climb back up could be really useful. So perhaps Matty Jones not 100% confident with his wrestling and wanting both sides available to transition to. That's another mistake we see guys make sometimes. They'll crush a guy up against the cage. All of a sudden they can't switch to that side for a Kimura or an armbar or a back take.
Right, he's been working quite steadily from side control there. I'm not gonna, hey, there we go. There's no guessing what I'm asking for from there. Knees to the body, absolutely in for sure.
That's one, if you kind of go along the hole.
Yeah, please, I'm keeping a tally. And almost a second there. I love the fact he's staying patient. As a debuting guy, you know, getting that win is important, but doing it properly, not putting yourself at risk, not taking unnecessary damage. I think he's doing that really well.
He's keeping his chest very, very close to Nathan Watt's chest here. You know, we've seen that Watt has the ability to come out on top in some of these scrambles. Creating a bit of space there to throw some strikes down. Very fast hands on the ground from Matty Jones.
But Watt pushes him off. And again, like we've seen in rounds 1 and 2, we have Matty Jones standing over Nathan Watt, throwing those chopping little kicks, controlling the cage, controlling the fight. First time I think he's jumped in the guard, or fallen into the guard. Again, body, head.
Yeah, he's just got to keep away from those long legs, passes to side control. There was perhaps room for an inverted triangle there, but
just, more than happy to keep his, controlling well, landing shots.
Really impressed with his hand speed on the ground, actually. You know, they're not fight-ending strikes by any stretch of the imagination, but he's putting 6 in where another guy may only get 3.
Yeah.
So certainly racking up points here is Matty Jones.
Oh, nice knee on belly as well, into the full mount.
Yeah, he's going to stay strong here. I don't think he's going to take any risks in the final 10 seconds. Trying to create a little bit of space, but Watt did a good job of just holding on to his man there. That's an impressive 3 rounds between 2 debuting guys.
Not too shabby at all. Competitive. Matty Jones just a little hungrier, I think, just a little more in control.
Yeah, I think so. He seems to be on the front foot a little more, especially during the first 2 rounds. And like we discussed during the break there, Nathan Watt, he went for a couple of interesting things, a couple of interesting subs and scrambles, but he sacrificed positions there. We could well be looking at different scorecards had he not gone for that. But both debuting guys, that's exactly what they're going in the cage to do. They're looking to test their limits for the first time. And what we saw was a competitive contest. I don't really think you can ask for any more at this stage.
Yeah, and sometimes no risk, no reward, so.
Fighters to center, please. Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to our judges' scorecards. With a unanimous decision, your winner in the blue corner, Matty Jones.